This is going to be West Norton Township's MS4 regulations project. What we have here is a stormwater controls that I would guess were created quite a while ago, and the lack of maintenance may have to do with different departments shifting responsibility, lack of job continuity. But the design of this is to catch the siltation and the erosion before it gets down into the Schuylkill River, which is our drinking water reservoir. Now, the functioning of this, I believe, had to do with these drain pipes. Both this one, which you can see is clogged, and the idea was that that whole reservoir in there that's holding water right now was supposed to be draining down to the level of the road through this pipe. And there's another pipe that will go as we show what the damage is downstream. Now the thing is, with that not doing it, what we have is we have a torrent just coming over here, and there's nothing catching the siltation and nothing reducing the velocity that creates the stream bank degradation. Now, stream bank degradation is pretty much what we're seeing down here. Now, the accelerated velocity, oh look, there's fish in there. See, there is hope. The accelerated velocity has impaired this stream, and you can see the attempts of trying to resolve this basic runoff, too much runoff. Here was the original design. Right down there is another pipe. We'll get a better shot of that. And there was the two levels that it actually flowed down. It may have been below the road level, but we won't know that until we possibly can get some plans. But here was the first creation right here. Then the damage of undercutting was somewhat moved on downstream, and as that blew on down the road, then they come in with this giant riprap, and you can still see how that isn't necessarily resolving the problem, because the stream bank degradation is going on down this way. Now I see this thing here. I'm curious. I've never seen anything like that before, but that may have been an attempt to stop the velocity from ripping through this area. Now this is a perfect training ground to explain what happened when you don't control the stormwater. Okay, here we are on the other end of it. This is a better look at the drain pipe there and the one up here. All perfectly logical to me. But what we have is still because of the filling in up and displacing the volume, having the force come down. I don't know when that began to be clogged, but obviously there's been, I would say, 3 or 4 attempts to do something about the velocity. And this is the stream bank degradation. Here's fresh erosion from the last storm undercutting this tree. The next thing is that the tree will fall in, and now, yeah, I'd say 5 to 10 feet of that bank would follow along with it, just as you can see with this. Now, interesting, I've seen this several other places. It's almost like Mother Nature came during the night and stuck a rock under there to try to keep this tree from falling in. But the damage to the stream is quite apparent, and that's why I'm hoping to use this as a tremendous teaching aid. Now, as we go down farther, we see that, the continuing damage to the banks, This tree here is ready to go. You know, so is that one, and so on and so forth. Now what we actually have to look at farther down from a different perspective, short of walking down a stream, and I'm not suited up for that, is the roadway curves back there. And what happens, as you can see, the same thing has happened here, is that the road has begun to collapse. So what goes on is they come in and they set up what's called gabion bed. You know what? I think maybe I can walk down this way. All right, here's another area that we can see. The stream is slowly working its way around this tree, and soon it'll be done. The danger to the public, as I see it, is when the road washes out and we have problems with you know, vehicles falling in the creek. And seeing as this is one of the closest tributaries to our drinking water, one should say that we need to watch out for this stuff. But look at the amazing root works of how Mother Nature tries to hold the stream bank together. Oh, isn't that something? Now the condition here was exacerbated by development on the other side of the road and the lack of another drain being properly cleaned out. But as you can see, the attempt to maintain the road, these are built, but still, as the velocity increases, realistically the gabion baskets should have started all the way back here. But I wouldn't doubt that there isn't some kind of funding problem. But there is erosion getting close to the edge of that road. So now, as I said before, this is a educational video. What we can do later on, once we address the fact that this is an impaired stream, is to come back and test for the invertebrates to see exactly how impaired it is, and work on a process of basically restoring it. Now, to further establish this was a bona fide stormwater controls project, I'd like to point out the fact that it is completely trimmed in concrete, which meant this was an area where it was intended to be cleaned out. And as we move farther into the explanation of this, here's erosion here that ends up in our drinking water. But as we move forward with this project, we'll put forth best management practices to clarify exactly what we're doing is what we're supposed to do to fulfill the MS4 regulations. Look forward to seeing this improve into a bona fide functioning stormwater desilting or water purification process. The fact that if this would be cleaned out, we could bring the Stony Creek anglers in here and have a fishing tournament for the County Juvenile Court.